This is Pastor Mrs. Comfort's Titilayo Bolanta's life story so far and is narrated by Precious Bolanta. Mom was born on the 26th of July 1962 in Ifon, Ose local government, Ondo State. Her parents named her Olamilekan Titilayo Adeole. Everyone called her Lekon growing up. She was christened Comfort as a teenager at St. Paul's Anglican Church in Ifon. As a young child, Mom enjoyed making friends, going on adventures, going to school and farming, as both her parents were farmers of different kinds. Mom did very well throughout her education and was usually lauded for her brilliance and boldness. She loved taking photographs and participated in extracurricular activities like debates, cultural dances, and her favorite subject was science, and that is probably why she decided to become a nurse. Mom attended the Ondo State School of Nursing from 1983 to 1986, and later on went back to the Ondo State School of Midwifery after working in Maryland Specialist Hospital in Lagos for a year. While working in Lagos between 87 and 88, she lived with her cousin and closest friend, Auntie Aina Ni Badiwole, now Mrs. Esther Lawal. They stayed at their older cousin's house at the Lagos State Cantonment. The cousin was a major in the Nigerian army, now a major general. It was here Mom would meet her husband. Mom and Auntie Aina were visiting a friend in their neighborhood when she met Dad. Dad was visiting Lagos on official assignment from Plateau, Jos, where he worked at the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. During his visit to Lagos, Dad was staying at his friend's house who was a captain in the Nigerian army. This friend also happened to be acquainted with Auntie Aina and Mom, and it was at this friend's house that Mom and Dad met. On being introduced to each other, instead of Dad to tell Mom his name, he spelt it and asked her to pronounce it. Bolanta, Bolanta. She pronounced it perfectly on first try. This surprised and pleased Dad so much because it was very unusual for anyone to pronounce his name or even understand what it meant. This interaction struck a chord in both their hearts as they became friends and kept in touch even after Dad went back to Jos and Mom went to the School of Midwifery in Ondo, Akure. They kept communicating through letters and pictures sent by post and even once in a while scheduled phone calls. One day, while Mom was at work, she was told someone was looking for her. She went out to meet the person only to see it was Dad. He had come all the way from Jos to Akure to look for her and find her. It was at that very moment that she knew she would marry him. Within a year, they were married. Mom and Dad got married in August 1990 in Akure. It was intended for Mom to move up north with Dad after they got married. However, Dad was looking to move down south, and by the special grace of God, he was able to get a job at the bank through one of the patients Mom worked closely with at the hospital. Mom worked between a few notable hospitals while in Lagos: Ladipoduro Sheleye, Blue Cross and County Hospital, till she left Lagos in late 1993. As a young couple looking to start their life on the right footing, they searched for a church to attend, and by amazing divine direction, walked into the first model parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. They were eager to join the workforce of the church and took baptismal and believers classes respectively, and were both baptized by immersion on camp in 1991. Towards the end of 1993, Mom and Dad moved from Lagos to Ibadan for better opportunities. Mom and Dad had their first child, Victor, through a miraculous delivery in 1995 after a few years of waiting. Their second child, Precious, followed shortly after, and Benjamin, their third child and the youngest, followed in quick succession. Mom delivered Victor and Precious at Molly Hospital, where she was working at the time, and Benjamin at Beatrice Hospital, where she had switched to at that time. At their church in Ibadan, which was called RCCG New Bodija at the time, which was the second model parish of the RCCG, their grace and anointing and diligence was evident for all to see, and very quickly they rose to the ranks and began pastoring at the church. Dad and Mom served around a few churches in Ibadan as parish pastor, area pastor, and assistant state pastor to Pastor Jide and Pastor Dayo Akinride. Mom graduated the School of Disciples, the School of Missions, and Bible College, and has done refresher courses till this day. Mom was ordained as a deaconess in 1997, as an assistant pastor in 2001, and as a full pastor in 2005. And all her ordinations were done by our father in the Lord, Pastor E.A. Adeboye. In 2001, Dad and Mom were transferred to Sokoto State as state pastors over Sokoto and Zamfara. While in Sokoto, despite conditions that people might consider harsh and hard, Mom worked hard and established a creche and primary school as well as a maternity. As a matter of fact, there were occasions where Mom had to do bus runs for the school children as there was no driver or no one else available to do so. In 2005, Mom and Dad were transferred to Port Harcourt, Rivers State as the pioneer pastors of Rivers Province 3. Here again, by the grace of God, Mom was able to establish a creche, primary, and maternity for her province as well. To the glory of God, Mom was able to host many successful programs with the wonderful women of the area, and was also able to carry out many successful outreaches to less privileged people around that community and beyond. In 2010, Mom and Dad with the family were transferred to Osun State as pastors in charge of Region 3 with their base in Ile-Ife, Osun Province 2. At the church in Ile-Ife, there was a school present, but it was run down and ramshackle, and Mom, by the special grace of God, was able to build it up back to a reputable institution. By the special grace of God, Mom and Dad had several successes and many causes to celebrate in Osun State. After just about a year in Ile-Ife, Mom and Dad were transferred to the international mission fields of South America. In January of 2013, the entire family moved to São Paulo, Brazil. This experience was like starting ministry and mission from scratch, as there was no established church. But with the few good people who were committed, Mom and Dad were encouraged and were able to set up quality believers to the glory of God. In 2014, our Father in the Lord visited the South American continent for a program titled Let the Wind Blow. However, Dad unexpectedly passed to glory in November 2017. Mom returned to Nigeria in 2018 to see what God had in store for her going forward. The mission reached out to her, and she is employed and currently serving as Assistant National Secretary. 2020, just before the world went into lockdown, Daddy Joe was preaching about doing more for God, no matter how much we already felt we were doing. This led Mom to volunteer at the health center on camp. In 2021, Daddy Joe announced a 63 days fast. Daddy Joe broke the fast into 3 phases of 21 days, and the first phase was about Thanksgiving. This inspired Mom to decide to thank God with each letter of the alphabet. And thus the idea of her book was born. One day at the health clinic, she ran into a lady who came for a checkup, and in going through her files, she noticed some errors and began asking questions. In doing so, She realized this lady was a writer, and then they began talking about writing, and Mom made known to her that she had a desire to write a book. By the grace of God and by His special favor, that is how the A to Z of Thanksgiving was conceived and delivered. Mom's journey so far is a huge testament to God's great grace and mercy all the way. She was married to Dad for 27 years till God called him home. Mom and Dad's marriage was heaven on earth. They served God fervently together and planted churches all over Nigeria and beyond. Their marriage, ministry, and lives were blessed with many wonderful children, biological and spiritual. Mom's journey is still being beautifully crafted by God, the Master Porter. And creation earnestly awaits the great heights that God will continue to take her to. And I, for one, I'm excited to keep celebrating her day after day, month after month, and year after year. For that is what scriptures mean when they say, "No eye has seen, and no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him." Happy birthday, Mom.